Hello to all you rad people out there from whatever rad time you're watching in whatever rad place. You know the drill. I'm Ryan.
And I'm David.
And this is our Rad.
Rad. Get rad with us, people, today.
We're on the rad side.
Yeah, rad. Get rad, brah. Ryan, I have to applaud you, honestly, because the other day I was going through the videos on the podcast, and you have not skipped a beat in terms of doing a meditation in the morning, have you? No, you have not. And
I have been consistent, yes,
yeah.
but I attribute my consistency to my dedication. Because if I didn't know that there was somebody, at least one person, actually, I'm always wondering who is that one person, but at least one person every single day who was like waiting for me to do these meditation videos in the morning. I don't know, man. Maybe I would get lazy. Maybe I would just go. Yeah. I have so far been totally consistent.
Yeah. I had to put some of the videos on private on a basis just so that it's not filled with that, and people are like, wait, are they even doing a podcast? Yeah. But I have to applaud you because that is dedication. Every day, 6:45, no matter what, you can find him on the channel, and Ryan will be happy to have you guys. Absolutely.
That's right. And if you're a subscriber, you'll get a notification every morning at 6:45 when I do it. It's funny because I go into our channel and then I get a notification on my phone because I'm subscribed to our channel, and it tells me that I'm doing a meditation video. It's really good information.
You can watch yourself doing a meditation after the 15 minutes, and yeah. Go in a cycle right there. Very, very cool. Very cool.
So we started this podcast with that very topic, and so we're on our 21st episode now?
This is our 20th today, yeah. Big old 20, second decade.
It's fitting then that we're going to return to the topic of meditation.
Yeah. At the end of the day, somehow we always end up where we started, so sounds about right. And tell us, today's guest speaker, you told me he was interested in talking about meditation. So without further ado, may we introduce the ladies and gentlemen to Gabriel.
Welcome to the Rad Podcast. Gabe.
Hey. Hello, Cruz. Hello, David. I am happy to be here. Thanks.
Hey, we're happy to have you. Absolutely. Last time we talked about meditation, it was just Ryan and I. And this time we have, a third guest. So we'd love to hear from you more than us, actually. So absolutely, please.
Okay. So,
yes, I'm going to quiz you first. But what does meditation mean to you, actually?
Meditation is like the way to interact with yourself. It's like sometimes we think we know ourselves, but there comes that questions about who I am, what is the things that I really like. So simple questions that maybe sometimes we do not have an answer to, So meditation is that I feel is the way to approach to it. Yeah, to know yourself, to be with yourself.
Yeah. And your background with meditation, did it start at school, or did you start it at home, or where was the initial meditation that you began in your life?
Okay, so actually meditation in the school is one thing that made me select the school, because I was doing meditation before some years, I think maybe 2 years, but no so constantly, because I was younger, and when a kid is trying to stay without movement is difficult. Yeah, so sometimes I was like
or an adult too. Sometimes it's
difficult. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's so much energy that you don't know how to stay. Yeah, so when I go into the school and I see like meditation, I say, this is the school that is to me. It's like the place I need to be. Also, when I go in the school was in the half of the year of 8th grade. In
Mhm.
that moment, the meditation was established. I think they start to practice meditation in 8th grade, in that 8th grade, but I enter half year later, so it was already organized there. The time was like 10 minutes, I think. Yeah, 10 minutes of meditation. I guess was the last year that the school changed it to 5 minutes, if I'm not wrong. You correct me
Yeah.
correct if you know.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah, so
was last year. Hmm.
yeah, last year, because yeah, 10 minutes sometimes so much time to the people that is not like used to it. So in order to do a stay more concentrated in the meditation, I think the school do that change in order to be more
A little,
relaxing.
I suppose, a little more realistic with the expectations, right? Because sometimes if you just take people who've never practiced meditation and you just throw them in and say, all right, do this for 10 or 15 minutes, it's too much, right? It's not enough. So I think, I mean, I'm not 100% in tune with all of the ideas behind the school's meditation, but I think that the idea would be that as students are brought up with the idea of meditating, that maybe eventually we'd be able to achieve, a little more, a little longer. But yeah, for now, I don't know what's it like from the student side, because from the teacher side sometimes it's frustrating, because we we
Yeah.
want we want the students to be doing it, to be taking it seriously, and not everybody's prepared to take it seriously. So I don't know, what's it like from the student's perspective.
Okay, so um, it's difficult to say every person how they feel about it, because actually I am used to do meditation, but there was, I think, in ninth grade, there was a space of 1 or 2 months that I never did meditation in the school. I don't know why, but my mind get lost of that idea of do the meditation, and I get into that mood of being doing jokes or whatever in that
Make
moment, except of meditation. So I think it's because uh, I did it so much time, and I was thinking that it do not bring me results. But the thing is that I was expecting results in some topics that were not the ones that it bring me that results. So when I assist to another class of meditation, that's the first approach I have to meditation before school. I have a class with a master, with an expert of it, but then I have my second approach to that master, and he explained me what happened there. So the thing is that the results I was seeing for are uh, able to accomplish in more time. So as David said about cross later, before, um, persistence is important. Persistence. So that's why I love the work that is doing cross in the mornings with the meditation time. That persistence is important.
Yeah.
Is Yeah, I think that's one of the most important things.
hmm
It's almost as if, the short-term benefit of it, we can't see because of the opaque nature of it. But the long-term benefit of it will be realized, and I think you're 100% right in that sense. Persistence and having it become part of a routine. When things start becoming part of a routine, we see the effects and we see the benefits of it when it's part of a routine. You know, I think during quarantine time, routines I've realized are very important. And, you know, once we have that routine, it's like we're seeing the benefits of what we're doing through the long term. On a day-to-day, maybe I can see them, but I definitely know in the long term I can see it, definitely.
Yes.
I find it interesting because Gabe is a drummer, right? You're
Yeah.
maybe more technically correct to say you're a percussionist, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's true.
And all you enjoy music, and I find an interesting sort of parallel here because, for instance, I know that in myself I have tried several times to learn how to play music or to learn how to play an instrument, and I find that that my patience for and my tolerance for learning things is not as high as, you know, I would like it to be. Like I said, I've tried a couple of times. I've tried with the harmonica. I've tried with the guitar. I've tried with the caja peruana. And none of them have been able to just, you know, I thought, it's just a box. You just got to hit the box, you know, but it's not as easy.
You got to try the triangle at some point, dude. I'm telling you, man, like there is the simplicity of it all. Like, you know, it's just a rhythmic tap right there, you know, just more cowbell, more triangle. Give it a shot one day, man.
I got to give myself more opportunities for success, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly.
But I imagine that a lot of people must feel with meditation probably similar to the way that I feel with music, right? I get frustrated and I don't see a result that I want, right? And music, the result is very concrete. It's either musical or it's not, right? It's either musical or it sounds like a walking garbage heap. So, you know, and so if it doesn't sound like music, I don't know. I have not been able to push myself and have the discipline. And so of course, I really respect people who have, because musicians I find are just, they've got an incredible amount of discipline. And I can't even pretend to have that much discipline with the meditation. Like I said to David at the beginning, I think if there wasn't somebody there on the other side of the screen every morning, I probably wouldn't push myself the way that I do, because I know that I have a commitment to others. I don't know.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Cross. Is meditation will feel like music. Yeah. I want to make like a parenthesis here with a movie I see before. Is more like a movie and kind of a documentary, but is pretty cool. And a master of meditation is an actor there, because he was like animated to do it, and he say, I think the better person to say what I want to say is me. So he acted in the movie. And there is one part that in a hotel there is a person that work there, and there is a piano, and the person was a musician before that played the piano. And is like kind of funny because the movie is based on the person that is doing the documentary, so it's like some weird stuff. But then the man that is doing the documentary get like lost, because he's not finding what he wants, and the things are getting very hard in his life. And then one night he saw in the hotel the other man playing the piano, and the man was with the eyes closed, and he was like playing the piano like pretty beautiful. And then when he finished, the man of the documentary asked to him how much time he was required to learn how to play that is exact stuff. And the man said, I never practiced. And he said, sometimes you only need to be there, and the things are going to happen. Yeah, you are like the instrument or something else that push you to do incredible things.
Hmm.
And that's the idea that the other master was working in the movie during the documentary that was making that man. So then all the signals push him to do a documentary with living the things go like flow, and then he resolved all this stuff. Yeah, I think it sounds so magical, but sometimes it works like that.
Hmm.
I think a lot of the time it works like that. I think the interesting thing about being a human is that it seems like we have so much control over things, or it seems like we always need to be,
Yeah.
like making things happen. And sometimes I think the most important thing is to recognize when you just need to let things happen, allow things to happen, more than always being the agent, always being the one who moves things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In many ways, I do believe that the self is conditional, right? This the self moves left and it can move right. Like one day of your relationship to the self will change based off any number of factors, right? So in many ways, I don't know. That's and I think that's one thing about meditation is it regrounds you to the medium, to your point of focus, to your to your center that you've known, and that makes everything connect in ways that you've always felt things have connected.
Mhm.
I don't know, that whole connection to the self that you mentioned as well, Gabriel, is something that, and today, even during quarantine, I'm finding it, imperative to have that connection to the self, not lose who I am when this is over, right? Like, remember who I am, remember who the self is within inside of me, right? Um, I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of, in many ways, that's what it means to me. Yeah, yeah. Mm.
Okay, with that, oh, that you say with the quarantine, that is like an opportunity to self-approach. That's completely true. That's completely true.
Mhm.
We also need to think that some people do not have that idea that approach to the self is a good idea. Sometimes, no, most of the times. Sorry, I correct that. Most of the times, people is working like in the survival mind. You know,
Mm.
that's interesting. If you want, David, that now we can see like the fourth image.
Okay.
Yeah, there we can see at
This,
the
number.
bottom
Sorry, number.
the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there. Okay, so that's like a relation between the brain and the heart. So I in one of the meditation classes I was in the past, um, the master teach to me that the heart is another brain, and it has
Mm.
his proper cells,
Mm.
like neurons, the brain, but emotional.
Yeah.
So here we can see that the red one is the sympathetic state. The sympathetic nervous system is the one that take care about survival. That's innate from the beginning of the human story. And now there we can see that the heart is, they draw it like huge and the brain is little. That's because when we are in survival, the heart is like, like breathing very fast. That's in scientific words, that's in order to produce enough oxygen and enough energy to escape.
Mhm.
Because in survival, we are we are running for something else, you know. So the heart have all that energy and all that concentration, and the brain in that moment is not enough, like oxygen, has not enough oxygen to process information in the same way. That's why they present very little. Yeah. And the thing that I see is that neutral is the, like, you know, the normal state of most people, and we can see that it is there is still that behavior. The heart is working harder than the brain.
Yeah.
So, like the perfect idea would be stay in parasympathetic state. The parasympathetic state is the one of relaxation, the one of being in this moment, you know. So that's why the brain and the heart have like the same size, because needs to be in the same, like in the same
Yeah.
velocities, you know, like.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because the heart and the brain as an aspect in meditation. I mean, I used to go to what was it, Komara Institute in London, which was a meditation center, and one thing that was always like, it would trigger something in me. They would be like, okay, now focus on your breath, right? Naturally, I had my breath. Now count your breaths and exhale. So it was almost like, through meditating with them, and well, sometimes we did transcendental meditation and would, like, you know, count our breaths and focus on our breaths. It's almost as if there was brain function going on with the counting of a breath, because I wanted to stay synonymous and in sync with the instructor, and the focus of my breathing. It was almost like the only two things that was, you know, I had my head counting and I had my lungs breathing, right? So you're
Yeah.
right in that aspect of talking about the state of the brain and the lungs, because at least in my experience, that was always what I got a little bit as well. I don't know, Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean that's the principle that I understand is sort of and that's why, you know, the type of meditation that I practice in the mornings is called Vipassana, and it's the one that, again, is, I mean, you know, I'm not an expert in the different types of meditation for sure, but it, you know, from what I understand, the idea is always there with breath, right? The breath, because the breath is just sort of, I always call it like the base or the foundation of everything, and if it's not there, then there nothing is there, and so it's sort of
Yeah.
support all of existence and allows it to be, and so that's why I find it so important to focus on it. And then, of course, every time you get distracted, because it's natural, right? I mean, we're distractible. You know, you just gotta notice, oh, hey, I'm distracted, and then bring the
Yeah.
attention back, bring
Yeah,
it
no.
back to the
And
breath.
that's something I've known some people to struggle with. It was that focusing on the breath and sometimes the counting element of the breath, right? But I think you're right, that Vipassana, where you're not counting your breaths, you're just breathing. I think that's you're getting back to the fundamental of what it is, breathing, and not thinking about the counts and being in sync with everyone else, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure then again, like other techniques that you know, focus on a different sort of aspect of it, or like counting might actually, you know, produce different effects or things like that. And I suppose there must be something to that. It's not a type that I've ever learned, and I mean, I just find it difficult enough to just, right. I mean, it's a big challenge.
Oh yeah.
I definitely wouldn't say that I've mastered in any sort of way. I mean, I don't know who has, and I'd love to meet the person who really claims that they have. I just every day try and do it for a little bit longer and a little bit more sustained, but I definitely can't say that I haven't mastered it at all. So counting is like adding another element that I think would be raising the bar.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I want to say like two things about what we just said. Is that for example, what is saying Mr. Cross is completely true. I saw a video about the recommendations to start with meditation, and they say first relax your body. The first meditation you need to do is only breathe, and need to relax. Try to relax, only feel good with the position, with the way you are, with the breathing, and that's all. Then the next one is with counting. Actually, what I did, what I did learn first was with counting, but I practiced so much that in this moment is the one that I feel more comfortable. I think I am already prepared to it, and I really feel like the ways to do it. Also, that in as we saw in this image, and with the anecdote of the man that plays the piano,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I like to think that in that moment the man, when he's referring like he only lives the things pass through him, he's meditating. He's doing a meditation in that moment, you know, because he's not thinking in if he make a mistake or something like that. He's only in the present, playing each different note before the another. And because he's in meditation, and we can see here the parasympathetic state says in parentheses meditation. When we are in meditation, we are in that mood, and the brain in that moment is in the greatest place. He's working in the faster way it can, and because of the heart is in the same place, the brain do not get distracted because disorder in the body, because all is happening in the same velocity, in the same wave, you know. So with that, I would like if David can like go up in the images. I think, yeah, the waves. That's the next thing I think we can discuss.
Mm.
That as you can see, beta is like the normal consciousness of people.
Yeah.
I found an interesting thing that is we use only the 5% of the brain. You know, I think all have listened this like once in all life. And when I start to study meditation, I figure out that 5% is the percent that corresponds to conscious mind. So
Mm-hmm.
actually, we are using all the conscious mind. The other things are the parts of the brain that are connected to normal and uh, organs, the things that do not need our concentration to function, you know. So I find out that and I get like surprised, because all my life I was thinking that the humanity do not use all the brain, but it uses, but the way it uses is that one. So the thing is that in beta, when we are in a high beta, that the waves are very fast, not so much as gamma, but
Yeah.
a great beta um, is a stress
Mm-hmm.
that produces stress, and that stress uh, is able to release a hormone that is called cortisol. That
Mm.
one is a good chemical, because all the chemicals we produce are for our body and are okay with that. the thing is when the people is in that state so much time,
Yeah.
because then the chemical is so much in the body, and it is the
I love.
function of it is like producing that state of survival that we talked before.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it struggles the muscles and all of that.
I love that you're talking about this because I have a friend in England. She's a writer. She writes for magazines and journalism, and for her, like for example, I mean, me and Ella, we got along very well. But she said that she would never ever be able to write for her magazine unless she was meditating because, and the way she explained it was she was often, yes, in the beta kind of phase in terms of and who she was on a daily basis. But she always knew that she needed to meditate before writing. And why? Because that meditation would cleanse herself, it would open up new pathways. And her description of what she told me was through beta, she would get into theta, which was obviously, in terms of journalism, her ability to provide that imagery and that relaxingness and kind of that, like, I know what I'm doing here. But she always had to do a meditation before writing. And Gabrielle, while you have this displayed right here, do you mind telling the audience, are we able to easily transition from, let's say, a delta to a gamma or a beta to a theta? Or does it require us to do certain things in order to transition? Can we freely transition, or does it require an action?
Okay, so uh, actually meditation is like the practice that bring us the ability to pass through every single state. So the thing is that we cannot like jump from beta to delta, for example. That's something we can't do because all requires a way, all requires like a process. Also, the people that is more like have much experience can go from beta to delta fast, but pass through all the series, you know. So with the thing you are that you said about your friend, is that what can the things that I can see is that she when she start to write uh, after the meditation, she is in beta state, but a low beta. Okay, a low beta. In
Okay.
the low beta, we are completely consciousness, but without the stress. We are relaxed, but we can think, we can process information. And in that moment, the analytic brain is um, is working.
Mhm.
So during the meditation, um for example, in the anecdote, when the man of, I go back to this one because it's very useful. In that moment, he was in alpha because he was relaxed, but he was conscious, but without thinking. He was not thinking what he did or what he was supposed to do after that. He was in the present. He was not thinking. He only was doing. So I think maybe the alpha state is the more creative state. In the right, when your friend is writing, maybe sometimes she also get into the alpha. Will be
I don't remember the states that she mentioned, but she did say, there was that need to have a shift in thinking, like you've mentioned, yeah. But I think, yeah, no, that would make sense. Hmm.
so. When we are doing a meditation, uh, it's easy to feel at first that the the thoughts start to pass, and sometimes we get into one and we start to solve that. You know, when we are meditating, the brain is trying to process information to maintain the analytic brain working, but we are trying to do the other thing to shut down the analytic brain. So it's like a fight, you know, it's like a complex competition of who continues with the power of the body and the brain itself. So um, when we are working when we are like processing information during a meditation, we are all in beta, in beta. We cannot stay another way if we are processing information. We
Mhm.
can be maybe in alpha when we only start like to not to process the information, but to start uh, processing like memories. When we
Oh,
are
okay.
feeling like doing yeah memories again, when we are living memories again, and then we start in theta. This one is imagery. All the things in that state pass as images, nor as words. Any word, any number, only images. As when we are asleep in a dream. When we are in a dream, we cannot read what is there. We are in imagery. That's like the relation. We can be in that state in meditation. Then delta is maybe one of the most difficult ones of getting is like complete relaxation. You are almost like sleep, but you are completely conscious. You know, in that stage, you are completely conscious, but you are not conscious about the environment, about what's happening yourself. You are only conscious, I am here. You know, like I am here, first thing, I am, then I am here, here, this moment, the present, and there is not something else to think about because we are not thinking in that state.
Hmm. And,
What,
and
yeah,
Gabriel, do you mind if I say this is all based on individuals, correct? We can't assess a, let's say there's a group meditation in a classroom setting, you know, and in many ways, I think part of the process of meditation at school is to have everyone on the same wavelength, right?
yeah.
If, is this measurement, can we apply it to groups or can we only apply it to the individual?
No, what I know about this topic, it also only can be applied to individuals
Okay. Hmm.
because every person works in a different rhythm.
Yeah.
Also, for example, I put a fast example. I was seeing a class of the Dr. Joe Dispenza. I don't know if you can listen, if you had listened to him before, but he's a great doctor. He studied meditation with science, and he exposed like two examples. One example of a person that was with mental problems has um, she can't be like uh, she was like always moving. He cannot be like, without movement. I don't remember how is that called.
Maybe.
Shake it involuntary. Yeah, she has like that condition, and she she recover herself by doing meditation without treatments. She tried with treatments before, but when she started meditation, she finally get like completely healed. You know, so she take like 2 years to do it, and then she exposed the conference her experience, and all other woman that has the same problem do it in 4 months after listen that example. So we can see they had the same problems, but then the times of getting into the meditation process is different. So that's why it's very about individual. Yeah, I think we can like apply methods to groups in order to get them in alpha, for example, to all of them in alpha. But in order to go deeper, is an individual work.
Hmm. That's like Ryan, were you going to say something, or I'll jump in?
Wait, David. So when you ask the question, though, are you sort of suggesting or maybe thinking about the idea that like one person's wavelength then could also have an effect over other people's? Is that, I mean?
That's exactly what I was getting at. Because, for example, when I was in London, I did a lot of meditation. I tried various forms, but the one I loved the most by far was chanting. And it was because, you know, you're connected to a group of people, and, you know, everyone is at a different stage. Everyone's at a different point in time. You know, everyone's got different things going on. But for whatever reason, when we all left the chanting room, I can't explain it, but it was like we were, you know, connected all together in many ways. We were all on the same, like, man, it's all good, man. All good people, man. You know, like we were all connected. And, you know, the words that you say in one of the exercises to start off chanting is Om Namah Shivatra, which is universal consciousness is one. Which, you know, when I look at this right here and knowing, okay, someone might come in and they might be in a gamma, you know, someone might come in and they might feel like they might be the beta. Someone might come in and have already done a meditation in the morning and be an alpha, you know, and I can't explain it, but it was something that I got to thinking about of, is it possible for everyone to be synonymous together through meditation and find themselves as a singular wavelength if they work together? But that's, I don't know. I'm curious about that. Do you guys have an opinion? What do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it works like that, as Mr. Cruz and you, David, said. For example, I'm going to say Albert Einstein, his main discovery, the most famous, is the equation of E equals mc to the second power, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically, in normal words, that say a great amount of energy is equal to a little amount of matter, and a little amount of matter is a great amount of energy. So in basic, we are all composed of the same energy, okay? So I need to interrupt a moment and say that, for example, gamma waves are incredible because that is like a light state. In that moment, the person is so immersed in himself that that person understands that himself and the exterior are two things that are connected at the same time and are the same thing, you know? So the thing is that when we understand that we all are the same energy, we understand that all things are connected by the same thing, the basis of our composed, you know. So that's one interesting thing when we do a meditation, because the last class I have with the master, I said to you, is called Renee May. If someone of you can want to see it, or maybe the people that is going to see the podcast, Renee May. He's an incredible meditation practicer. He had accomplished like great hours, maybe I think days of meditation constantly. So he said the idea to us in meditation is go to delta state. Yeah, no gamma, because gamma is like when we already get into the consciousness to life, gamma will become a constant in our lives, and we will see, our perspective will be always of the world with the gamma state, you know. So that's in meditation we want delta, as you are showing there, delta, because the waves are slow enough, and when the wave is in the bottom, in that place we want to go in, you know? During the wave, in the meditation, when we feel the wave in ourselves, we try to get into the wave. And then we find out the emptiness. The idea of meditation is find an emptiness. That's maybe one thing that make meditation so hard for people. Not because the approach to emptiness is difficult, no, but because emptiness is something that our survival minds have fear too, you know? So as
we avoid nothingness, right?
yeah, we avoid it. So as I said before, most of people live the majority of their lives in survival state. So the mind is working always in survival. So that's why meditation looks so hard, but it's not. It's not. If we release that survival mind and we got into the conscious mind, because survival is not in that 5% of the conscious mind. The survival is the animal mind.
Mm-hmm.
So when we get in the conscious mind, we are able to find emptiness because we are not fear of it. You know, when we are in survival, we want to be in the things that we know, But in consciousness, we are open to the unknown, to the things that we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So we are able to find that emptiness. Okay, I am happy that David moved to that image because that's one of the ideas of meditation. Change your reality.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had any question about what says there,
Actually makes sense. Yeah.
I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
yeah,
I've always heard it, and it's very true. Feelings have thoughts as a foundation, right? How are you feeling today? Well, it was the thoughts and that provided a foundation of how you're feeling, I think, in many ways, or what's going on here, right? Yeah, and that's kind of what can be displayed, I guess, in that section. And then you have inspires new thoughts and new feelings, right? Yeah, no, I like this. This is very beautiful.
yeah. With that
Yeah, I
image,
think as that. That's yeah, bright mind, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That image is like I think our first approach to I think the next topic I say to David to talk genetic in relation with meditation and how meditation works with defeat the illness. So I would like to show you. I have here like this book.
Yeah, I'm gonna exit just for 1 minute so we can see it better. Okay. Oh, okay, very nice. Genética de la emoción, el origen de la enfermedad.
Yeah, this is like a book about the emotional based of illness and how emotions are attack our body or help our body in the genetics. So as we see in the image, the feelings are produced for the thoughts. So that's the incredible thing. Our thoughts produce our human reality. That's why how to change your reality talks about new thoughts. So they found that in the chromosomes there is a special part called the telomerase. That is the last part, the border of the chromosomes. I think here in the book, it has like some images of chromosomes.
Oh yeah, I can see.
There are the 23 chromosomes of each cell that any of us has, and that's what compose our basic genetics. And the telomerase, when the cell divide in order to reproduce, the only thing that do not copy exactly the same way is the telomerase. The telomerase go shorter and shorter every time that the cell divide, and that's what cause our behavior, our natural, like the that's what explains why we die, you know,
Like the
because
degeneration of them.
yeah, yeah, the telomeres are the part that are like a shell to the chromosomes.
Mm-hmm.
So when the shell disappear, the chromosomes are exposed to illness,
Mm-hmm.
and then the illness comes. So these studies, the one of the Dr. Joe Dispenza, was the thing that he discovered is that the telomerase is able to grow. We can expand the telomerase. So in that way, we can produce our life to be longer.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that the feelings, the same feelings, produce the same state, the same actions, the same life. So we are always in the same thing. And the people is trying to use, like drugs or like different
Substance.
medicines, yeah,
Yeah.
substances, medicines to avoid that illness, but they are not changing their lives, their actions, their feelings. They are not changing the thoughts, and that's the main thing. He made a study in which they say to some people, I think was 40 people, to have new thoughts every day. Try to have new thoughts, and the results were amazing because some people was already diagnosticated with some illness or some like cancer, and then the possibilities of cancer had disappeared completely.
Hmm.
But with meditation, they also made meditation with new thoughts, trying to do during the meditation new thoughts.
Meditation and new ways of thinking are like ways to rejuvenate your body and not only your mind but your body as well.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty
So
cool.
this book is not from Joe Dispenza, but has some relation with with all of that stuff. And in this book, what I read is that different emotions are connected to different organs in the body. So, uh, for example, when you feel like nervous, it produces uh, in the nervous system. Okay, that's like
Right.
some like obvious, but in the nervous system get affected when we are nervous, and because that produce um, stress. So these things have always a relation in it, and also are positive emotions that are connected to each organ. It's not only negative, it's in both sides. Positive and negative emotions are connected to the organs, and I think these have so much to be related with the chakras,
Mm-hmm.
because that points of energy that we had in the body that are in special points, so are closer to some organs, and each chakra is connected also to certain emotions. So that would explain why that organs that are close to that chakra would have relation with that emotions.
Huh. Interesting. Okay. So it's like a scientific basis for the chakras.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. I this is like, yeah, this image is like a brief summary of what we talked before. Animal is like the
Whoops.
mind of the survival mind is the animal one, and the divine is the conscious mind. So
Mm.
there we can see the relations, you know, survival, creation. The second one is the one that I think is more interesting for me, the stress and the homeostasis. You know, because
Stress and
yeah, stress produce all these like illnesses
Yeah.
that we said before and
You
disorganize the body.
am I right in saying stress produces the norepinephrine neurons in the head more, which is the ones that kind of like for like ADHD people, they have like no low norepinephrine neurons. In many ways, stress when it occurs, it kind of like takes away those norepinephrine neurons. I think that's one of the kind of with stress. When you feel stressed, it's playing with those specific neurons in the head. I don't remember if it's increasing or decreasing them, but yeah. And that's kind of why there's two neurons in the head that deal with ADHD, which is dopamine and norepinephrine. And norepinephrine, in many ways, is the one that deals with your ability to concentrate. Dopamine, we all know, of course, as like the energy one, but the concentration one is basically obviously there's elements of dopamine as well, but norepinephrine neurons are the main focus. And I don't recall if when we feel stressed, if it's taking away or adding norepinephrine. I don't recall which, having done a study on it a while back, but that's definitely something very interesting right there. Homeostasis and stress. There's quite a few opposites right here. I'm seeing catabolism, anabolism, regeneration, degeneration, breakdown, repair. It's quite interesting. There's quite a polarity, if you will, between the divine state and the animal state, as you've put it.
Yeah, and the
We're
thing,
always kind of fighting between ourselves then.
yeah,
Boom.
or
Yeah.
some are completely immersed in one. Sometimes the most common is to be in the animal state. I know that's some sadly, but that's why we get in the world now.
Okay, my mother still says I'm an animal, so I totally agree. Oh,
Yeah, and the thing of the stress explains perfectly all what we say, because when we are stressed, that the stress produce cortisol, and the so much cortisol produce the body into immerse the body into the survival mind, and the survival mind is only thinking in three things: my body, where the things that are behind and the things that are going to be in the future, the obstacles I need to pass, when we are running, and the time. How much time can I do this in order to escape? So is this the predator and predator relation that turn on our animal state? That's what is called like that. And the cortisol, when produce that state, and we think in that, we get more energy, and that we can do the things faster. But the thing is that people in today is staying always in that state. But that mode is only for escape, it's only for very hard situations. But now what produce that is the traffic, a problem with the family. I am going late. I have not enough time to do what I need to do, So these different things.
My telephone keeps ringing and keeps making sounds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So in that moments we are only thinking about time, the body and the time. But the thing is that we are thinking in the time that we need to accomplish the things. We are not thinking in the time that we are living in the present.
Right.
That's why meditation becomes so important in the daily basis of every single life of every single person in the world, because that in that practicing that meditation, they can control that stress, they can control the chemicals and produce the homeostasis, all the balance of the body. And when we go and approach to it, then the creation activates. So the brain works so great that then we do not need to be thinking about the time, because we realize that we already did what we need to do in this only in a second, because in that divine way to be, the brain works so great. As we see in the first image we study, the brain works in balance with the heart, so works so great that we can do anything. Yeah, I will recommend a movie for you to see, and for the people that is seeing us, it's called The Peaceful Warrior.
Yes.
They explore this about meditation during life, not only like a practice as an habit some time in a day, but also to live in meditation, to live in the conscious mind. And that's one of the most interesting things, because I want to ask this time to you, which ways you think we need to be in order to meditate?
You mean like what kind of conditions do we need to have?
Yeah. Like position, locations.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of us usually, when we think about it, or when we think that we should be in a, I don't know, a very peaceful place, a quiet place, etc., etc. But I know, for instance, like, I don't know, my Tai Chi master always tells me, she says, look, anybody can meditate in a beautiful, quiet bamboo forest, right? You want to be the type of person who can meditate in the middle of a crazy busy street filled with cars and noise and smoke and everything, right? Like it doesn't matter if you can meditate in the perfect situation. What matters is, can you meditate in the least perfect situation?
Good point. Good point. Yeah,
It's
no,
interesting.
Ryan, right, you mentioned Tai Chi. For me, yoga. I love yoga, honestly. Yoga is, it's another form of meditation. It's a little bit more physical, maybe. But I absolutely love it. But for me, in terms of the environment that I require, I'm going to share an image that I pulled up when you were talking. Let me share it very quickly. And it's a Gandhi quote, yeah? But silence in many ways. In the attitude of silence, the soul finds the path in a clear light. And what is elusive and deceptive resolves into crystal clearness, yeah? I love that quote right there. I mean, in many ways for me, when I think of meditation, I think of that quote right there. That which is elusive and deceptive resolves into crystal clearness. I love it. And yeah, for me, I mean, meditation in the mornings at school, love it. 5 minutes, nice. Well, I attempt to be quiet with the students, but sometimes not as successful as always. But I do definitely, enjoy having that moment of silence where it's like you're finding yourself before the start of the day. It's beautiful, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, you are completely right, both of you. I want to say something about the first things that Cross said, and is that we think that we need to be in a peaceful place first, because it's easier to get into that relaxation when we do not have close any distraction. But the reason why we had that idea is because the emptiness I mentioned before. The meditation is focused on find that emptiness. So the people that was interpreting meditation first time, and they say emptiness, they say, oh, I need to be in a place that is empty. But no, it's not about the place. It's not about the exterior. It's about the interior. So,
Right.
yeah. And David, also that quote is amazing. Yeah, I appreciate that quote. Is and yoga, as you said, you're right. The yoga is a kind of meditation. Actually, every activity we made in which we are in conscious state is a meditation.
Right.
Boom, boom. That is the if there's something you get from this video, I hope it's that right there. 100%. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more with you right there. Yeah, no. 100%. If actually, just because I looked at my phone and apparently I've dropped the number of steps I take on a daily basis during quarantine by like 1,500. So my form of doing a little bit of meditation and exercise has been yoga these days, honestly. I put on a video on YouTube and I'm just doing a 30-minute yoga session with me, myself, and I, and maybe a neighbor that I've seen doing yoga across the street as well. So, maybe we're in sync. I don't know. But that's been my form of meditation. It's been a little bit of yoga because it always gets me out of me, at least in my experience. And that's something I've always enjoyed with yoga, definitely.
Yeah. So, for example, I once I thought with a friend that loves football, and he said to me that he was like saying about once that he made an incredible thing in football and he can't believe it, And then I say to him, what were you thinking about in that moment? And he said, no, anything. I was just doing what I say to you. And I say, actually, that's meditation. You were not thinking in how much you practiced before, or if you're going to make a mistake during the things that going to happen, the future. No, you were in the present doing exactly what you know you can do.
Yeah.
That's meditation, doing what you know to do. And this is beautiful because I am practicing the techniques of Wim Hof that are for controlling the temperatures of the body. And in once there's a video in YouTube that say is a guiding session to practice. It's very fast. It's like less than 5 minutes. And he said in the video, let the body do what the body is capable of doing. So
he's the guy who meditates in like freezing cold water, right?
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
I've seen that guy. He's really interesting. Really, really interesting guy.
It's amazing. I know him because I practice apnea. So, okay, I was practicing apnea.
we were all doing lots of things, and we're doing
now we are doing lots of things also, but different lots of things.
Yeah, different.
So yeah, it's the man of freezing temperatures, and he meditates there. But that quote of "let the body do what the body is capable of doing." So that's the thing you were saying, Cross, about music that requires discipline and meditation also. But when you are used to it, there's a moment you can let the body do what the body knows to do.
Right.
For example, I remember in my drum classes that my teacher always said, practice slowly the things that you're going to play, because that way your muscles are going to be used to that moment and you're going to produce muscle memory. Yeah. And that's why the musicians in some way, in some time, they can let the body do what the body knows to do because they have that muscle memory and they don't need to think. They only need to feel what they are, and then that's all. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's very cool, man. Very, very, very interesting. Well, we've been going on now for a good while, so
Yeah.
But I gotta thank you, Gabriel, because you've honestly, in terms of bringing material and informing Ryan and I Ryan, maybe you've heard of the deltas and gammas, but you gave us an educational class for the two podcasters, honestly. So we really must thank you, Gabriel. You did an awesome job, and I'm going to put this one down as like one of the ones that I was most informed about. So thank you very much, honestly. It was fantastic having you on the show. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
We didn't even mention that this is going to be your senior project.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, well, dude, you've got yourself a hell of a topic right there. Absolutely. I really like it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, yeah.
We'll definitely be looking forward to the developments next year.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Really.
Yeah, I am with Tomas Pineda in the junior and the senior. We decided to do this topic in both in order to get more material across the time. And I decided to work in this topic because I already know so much about it, but I also know that I do not know so much about it, So yeah, the only thing that I know is that I have so much things left.
Oh yeah. Hey, so, you've got all of next year, don't get me wrong, so I think you can keep yourself busy.
yeah, I think. So thanks for letting me be here.
Pleasure.
I really love to express all this information in order
absolutely
to the people that is going to see it, to
I'm very interested. I may bump into you at school next year and just say, so Gabriel, how's that project going, huh? So,
thanks.
Awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Rad Podcast for today. Thank you very much for watching, and we look forward to having you join the podcast whenever you can. Awesome.
On that note,
on the next one, guys. Bye-bye. All right.